Hi there, this is Mar Haddad here again. I have a very good news for you. Splynx, which is a company based in Czech Republic, they have contacted me asking if I can do a video speaking about their feature, which is the TR-069, which is a new feature on Splynx, and to show to you about that feature and to give an idea about the Splynx as well. So this video is fully sponsored by the Splynx company. So what is Splynx? What is the background of this company? What do they do for ISPs? And what is the feature of the TR-069? That's something I'm going to do in this video. So let's start directly with the slides to show you more about Splynx. So what's behind the Splynx company? So in this video, again, I'm going to focus about the feature, which is the TR-069, which is a very nice feature that a lot of ISPs can profit from it. To be able to configure and do everything on the customer's routers, whether it is from MikroTik or from other brands, without you really need to have support or you send someone to the location to do the configuration. So you can push everything from Splynx itself. So let's give an idea about what Splynx is. So Splynx is an ISP software made by people to or for people. So that means that Splynx by itself, the people who work for them, they just listen to what the ISPs want, and then based on that they do the settings on their software. So Splynx is in the market since 6 years. They have more than 700 plus customers globally, and they have like 55 team members. So more than half of this team members, they are programmers. So that means every time that the ISP say, well, we want this feature, we want this to happen, we want that. So they go and they just make the programming, and then they test it, and then they provide this feature to their customer. So they have different offices based in Czech Republic, in Ukraine, in South Africa, and in Spain. So the mission of Splynx is to help local ISPs succeed in competing with large telco and build a profitable, fast-growing business. So that's the whole mission of Splynx, is to help those small ISPs. So not only focusing on the big telco, which they already are big and they can provide internet. So it's more to help those ISPs who would like to provide internet to rural areas, especially in places where the internet is not very available everywhere. So it helps those ISPs, and they have up to now more than 700 customers worldwide. So that's really amazing of what Splynx is doing. Now, how they can help to compete. So how Splynx helps those small ISPs to compete with the big telcos. So they make it by improving via automation. So their software will provide the network infrastructure, the billing and connection and collection, sales and support, and field services. So you can imagine that in one software you can have everything. So that means that the ISP will just have to have Splynx, and they can do everything you will need as from the network infrastructure, the billing and collection, so everything about billing, payment, sending invoice, and so forth. Sales, so they have an integrated CRM. I will show you in a moment. So also they can you can make leads, assign leads to employees, and follow up the leads, and then support and field services. That's more to be with the TR-069 that we're going to speak about it now, and also possibly with the API. So how this happens. So here it's saying how this happens. So you can see the Splynx software has all those features. So let's start with the first one. It's connected to CRM and help desk. So this is to keep your client's information, including details, tasks, ticket, communication, documents in one place. So if you want, I can just show you right away if we go to Splynx. And thanks for Splynx people, they just gave me access to the cloud Splynx, so I can show it to you. So this is where you can see the customers. So for example, over here, you can go to the, you can add customers, you can search for customers, you can go for the list. So here's some customers. So they said, use this first one to show to the audience. So you can see this is the information of the customer. This is where it is located. For example, some more information. So this is what service this customer is assigned to. For example, 25 by 25 megabit per second unlimited. the billing, so you can see also about this customer, what he has paid, what he are still pending, some statistics as well for what this customer is doing as for the usage of the internet for now. For example, if you want to leave some documents here, and this is the CP of the customer, you can see what is the CP. So over here you can add the CP for the customer if you want. This is the lead if you are getting some leads from this customer. So this is all really showing up over here. More things to show is about leads. That's something I really like because a lot of ISP may get a lot of requests for leads. Of course, at this moment there is nothing. But in case you get leads, then you can go there. You can connect your Splynx to the SMTP and you can answer by email to your leads. You can send codes, for example. So all of those things you can do it over here. There is also the maps. And the last thing is that I want to show now is about the ticket. So they have really a nice ticketing system where you can follow up for any incidents that happen to the customer. So you can, for example, take the list of the tickets. Again, there is nothing now because this is just a testing server that I'm having. But you can just follow up with the ticketing, assign it to an agent so we can follow whenever there is a problem. So let's go back to the slide. So this is the CRM and help desk, and they also integrated the 3CX, which is for be able from CRM or from Splynx itself to be able to do phone calls. So that's a nice feature that they also added inside their Splynx software. Now, the other thing that they can do also is to connect your payment system. So there is possibility also on Splynx that you can add any payment that you want, whether cash or PayPal or credit card, or also customers can pay you using the Splynx as well. It's also connecting to the very known finance softwares like Xero, Sage, and QuickBooks. So you don't need really that from Splynx to do the finance and then do the finance again on those softwares. Those are very known software for finance. So what is happening here is that the Splynx is being integrated directly to those three well-known finance softwares. So the information you put on Splynx will be directly sent to those software, and the entries will be added there. But also from those software you can send information to Splynx as well. So that's something very nice. And the last thing that is very important is the connected inventory. So the connected inventory say that you have a warehouse of many routers that you are selling to your customers and you want to keep track on that. So what you can do, you can make the connected inventory so you can manage your stock. And that's something you can see it also over here on the inventory. You can mention, for example, what items you have. So something like in stock or sold or whatever. So this is some information you can see about like this has been used, provided to that customer and so forth. So that's something you can see it over here on the inventory. And you can also issue a report at the end so you can see what has been sold and what has been rented as well. So that's something very nice also from inventory. There's possibility that you can also scan a router before it's being sent with a barcode, and then this will come up on the inventory. So I'm just giving you a whole idea about Splynx so you know what Splynx is, and then I'm going to speak about the TR-069 in a moment. Now, how to connect to Splynx. So Splynx is compatible with any hardware or software that are managed via radios, API, TR-069, that's something I'm going to focus on this slide, SNMP and SSH. So if you got questions like, well, I'm using MikroTik, or I'm using Huawei, I'm using Cisco or Juniper, or so all those hardware, if they support any of those protocols, then you can use Splynx with them. So here they just put for you some information, like it can be used for MikroTik, Ubiquiti, Cisco, Huawei, NetElastic, Cambian, Juniper, OpenServe, and so forth. So the list can continue. Any device supporting all those, then it can be connected to Splynx. Very good. Now, what you can have on Splynx is different things. The radio server, the ACS that we are going to focus on this slide, the API, IP management and monitoring. So the radio server, that's something most of you maybe know about it. It's just whenever someone is connected to your hotspot or to your PPPoE, then you have to do some customer authentication to allow them to get connected. So here you need to use the Radius server. So this is what you can do on Splynx: custom authentication, automatic blocking, statistics, speed limitations, support for various vendors, and so forth. The ACS, what we are going to work on this video, is very important for the device provisioning, firmware updates, and mass management, remote management, and monitoring. So say that you are having in your network like 1,000 customers, and from Splynx using the ACS TR-069, if those devices are connected to the Splynx using the ACS, then you can do all of those things. You can just make a mass firmware update for all the devices from Splynx. You can do the monitoring. You can do changing on the configuration without you really need to connect to the device via Winbox if you are using Microtech, or via SSH or whatever. Everything can be done from Splynx. You can do also monitoring. Other things that Splynx can also use is the API. So if you are using, for example, Microtech, you can, with the API, do Q bandwidth control. With Huawei, also OLT. For Presume, you can do the QoE. With the Webone, you can do the secure DNS. So those are made by API. But of course, you can do more things on API. You can also do IP management. So everything which is managing the IP addresses, whether it's on IP version 4 or IP version 6. And monitoring and backup. So if you are using SNMP, you can do monitoring on Splynx. Of course, if you are doing ping, also you can do some type of monitoring and SSH, and that's more to be able to do the backup and change management. Of course, on SNMP, you can do also change configuration in case you have version 2, because then that's possible to do the right. So all of those things are possible on Splynx, and all this you can see them under networking. So over here under networking, you can do all those configurations. You see, so this is the TR-069 that the ACS we're going to speak about. This is the IP version 4, IP version 6. This is the DNS threads, Huawei, and so forth. So all of those we can do it from the networking side. So we show that there is list for the customers, the leads, the tickets, the finance. So this is the finance. Maybe I didn't show it to you. So this is where you can do all type of finance that you want. If you go to the dashboard, for example, you can see the payment that has been paid, the invoices that haven't been paid yet, the credit notes, and so forth. You can see very nice looking for what you have in your ISP, so you know what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done, so which has been done already. So also you can see about the payments. So this is what is the payment. You can see you have the cash, bank transfer, credit card, referral card, so forth. So Xero, different type of PayPal, different type of payment that you can add it over here. All right, let's go back to the slide and continue. So this is network management. Now we start speaking about Splynx, which is the ACS TR-069. So Splynx helps ISP solve issues with manual provisioning and bulk management in an effortless and cost-effective way. So say that you have one day you are going to connect 5 customers in your ISP to have internet. So those customers, you can just put their routers connected to Splynx using the protocol TR-069, and then you can do whatever you want on those routers. You can make the configuration. You can push updates. You have full control. So you don't really need to send someone as an engineer to do this work for you. You can do it by yourself. You only need to have IP connectivity to the internet, so you can the router can reach Splynx, and then that's it. If you are putting the router for your customer, and Splynx is inside the ISP network, so you don't need internet. You just connect it to your network, and then you will have communication with Splynx. So Splynx ACS works with any device that supports the TR-069 protocol. Again, so any device which has this protocol, then it can be used. In my case, I just put here, this is a Microtech router. I installed the TR-069, and I connected to Splynx. So you can see this is the all configuration that you need to do just to connect it to Splynx, putting username and password, putting this one, the ACS URL, and that's it. And at the end, what you will get is something like this. So let me show you. So if you go now to the networking, we go to the TR-069 ACS, and you can see here the dashboard. So you can see there is one device, that is my device, which is a MikroTik CHR. It is online at this moment. And if we go inside of it, so it will pull all this information for you about the device. Here you can see, for example, the WAN interface. You can see some information about the WAN interface, like the DHCP server, the IP it gets. So you see 192.168.137.215. So if you go to the MikroTik router IP address, you see that it is the one, 137.215. So all the information will be put, and that's with the beauty of the protocol, which is the TR-069. You can have information about the LAN, you can have information about the NAT, the firewall. So all what you need to do, you can do it over here. So you can just change the configuration, put configuration. So yeah, that's all you can do. And here you can do the diagnostic. So I have made the ping to 8.8.8.8, and I could see that the ping is working or not working. And you can see activities. So anyone changing any configuration, like I made here, you see, I made ping to 8.8. Here I made ping. Here I changed something on the firewall, just to see on the net route. So I see what's happening, if it's working. And yeah, it's working perfectly. To what I'm doing on Splynx, it's directly applying on the router over here. All right, so let's continue. So what is the benefit of Splynx? Is to get better control over your networking devices. So you have one place where you have control to all the devices, reduce time and cost to provision new subscriber and services. As I said, you don't really need to send an engineer, pay cost for the engineer to do something. You can just do it directly right away yourself. Reduce support cost. Also, as I said, the cost you don't have to pay because you're not sending anyone. You just do everything from one place. And improve service with faster resolution of customer issue without sending anybody to the field. So anything that happens on the router, say for example, the MikroTik router as an example is connected to the ACS that is Splynx in our case, and the customer said that my wireless is not working well. You can just go from Splynx over there, and you can, because there is a spectrum analyzer integrated, you can scan for the frequency and you can see which frequency he's using. You see if there is a lot of, for example, interference or a lot of people using that frequency. You see another frequency which is not used, and then you can assign it to them, and then your wireless will work for the customer by just changing the frequency. That's one example, for example. So that's something you can do. You can reboot the device, you can change the password, you can do really a lot of things using the ACS on Splynx. Now, if you want to do the auto provisioning for Splynx, then you have different options to do the auto provisioning. And that's something you can see it on the networking ACS. So we go there, and then you can do the auto provisioning. So you have here different options. If you have one fully configured device and ready to reset configuration, and then I have a backup for full config. So that's, you can choose it. You have different options over here, and I'm going to leave for you. This is the link, so you can see what of those options you can use. For example, if you say, in my case, I have only configured like a backup from one device, and this backup I want to load it to this new device because there are similar routers, and I just need to load it. Then you see which one of this one you can use. So like I have a configuration file to import and want to import this file. So you choose this one and you say next, and then you take this config and then you load it to the router. So that's something you can do. I'm gonna leave for you the link so you can read it from Splynx, which options you can choose. All right, now what you can also do over here is to make a remote device management. That's something actually you can do it from, let's go back to here and I can show you from the device on the TR-069, and you can go to here and you can say reboot. So once you say reboot, then the device will be rebooted. You can, if you want to do upgrade, so you can send a file, and of course you should have the file for the upgrade over here. If you don't have this file, you can just upload the new file. So you go to browse, and then you can just, for example, if you have the file here, you just upload it and then give it a name, and then you upload it to the Splynx. And that's something then you can later use it to upgrade your router. What you can do also, if you have many CPEs, actually we should go to the over here to the devices. Yeah, on the TR-069 ACS. If you have, for example, different routers, they are all the same architectures. So what you can do, now I have only one router, but say that you have 10 routers, same architecture, you can just select all of them. So you just select all those routers, and you just say, I want to, for example, upgrade all of them. So you just click on upgrade, you say what is the version that you want to choose from the versions that you have available. And then this will be pushed to all the routers and they will be upgraded. So that's something very nice that you can do. All right, now they said here that, for example, when you assign the router to one customer, so from that customer, you can just do some things like rebooting the router, changing the SSID and the password. So what does it mean here? Let me check if I have, if I go to the list and I have this one, that is just a customer, they just give it whatever the name is. And I see on CPE, I don't have any router. So what you can do, we can go to networking, TR-069 to the device. And let's say that this device is for the customer, which is, we just show it now, John Underwood. And I'm going to give him internet Wi-Fi 25 megabyte by 5 megabyte. Save. So this is now, it should be reflecting for me on the customers. If we go again to the list, to John, and then to the CPE. Here we go. You see, then now the router has shown up over here. So from customers as well, you can go to the view device, for example, and then you are back to this where we were on the TR-069, and then over here you can now again the full access. So that's something also possible that you can do. So from just being on that device and then going to the CPE, which is the customer premises equipment, and then from here you can do the change that you want to do. All right, let's keep moving with the discussion. Of course, from here you can as well add, if this customer has more devices, you can add these devices from here as well. So I'll say that there is a reseller having different devices, you can do that from here. Now the firmware upgrade, as I have already explained to you, this is something we can do it. So I'm not going to do this explanation anymore. Now for the monitoring, that's very interesting. So this is what they're showing here is for the Wi-Fi, but I'm using CHR, which doesn't have a Wi-Fi. But what you can do, for example, if we go back to the ACS networking, we go to the ACS device. So what we can do, we can just scroll down here, and if we go to the WAN interface, and on the WAN interface, if you want to see the traffic on the WAN interface, so you just click on Show Traffic Graph. Of course, this takes some time to show you this information. Yeah, this is what you can do. You just show the graph, and then in a moment you will be able to see some graph here. Same if you want to do that from the LAN. If you are, for example, this is my LAN side. If I click on it to see the graph, then we can wait and until because this is now being requested to the router, and the router is going to send this information to Splynx. So this may take some time to be shown, but yeah, maybe later I will come back and see if this will be shown. So the same we can do for the Wi-Fi analyzer. Again, I don't have a Wi-Fi interface because I'm using CHR, but you can do Wi-Fi analyzer, that's like spectrum analyzer, to show you what you have as frequencies at this moment on that device. So while waiting for this to be shown up, because it's still initializing, so I'm not sure if it takes too long, then yeah, we have to skip it. But I just want to show you some more things. For example, if you are on the NAT here, and you can see this it shows for you the rule for the NAT, which is the rule, I have it over here on the router, firewall NAT, so this one. So it's showing up over here. So if you want to do some changes, you can just go there and add or delete whatever you want on the NAT. You can see you have source NAT, destination NAT. You can just change that, and then it will be reflecting right away to the router. Same filter rules. So let's see if we have some filter rules here. Yes, we do have two filter rules. Yes, we do have two filter rules. So also over here, for example, say that you want to delete this filter rule, just click on delete, and then you delete it. And then in a moment, of course, this doesn't show up right away on the router, because again, this has to speak to the router. So tell him delete this rule, and then it will be deleted in a moment. Now, the other thing that I would like to show you here is about the upgrade batches. So this is what we show on the slide, which is this slide. So that's when you want to make upgrade for many routers as well. So from here you can just create one, and then you say that is the router OS that you want to upgrade if you are using, for example, MikroTik. And you have to say when this upgrade you want to happen, which hours. You can just select here which hours you want to do it. So you can see here they said from 1 to 6 for this upgrade to happen, and then to boot. And then what you can do, you can just for example find the device, and then you can add it, and then you say save, and then in this case you can just make the upgrade batches for all the routers that you want, and that can happen. But the best way to do it, I would say, is to go from here, select everything, and then here you make it, then it's better. That's what I like to do. So that's more likely to be what I wanted to show you in this video. So let me just see if the firewall root that you can see here has been deleted, and let's see if, here we go. You see that it has been deleted right away. So this is all what I wanted to show you in this video. It's all about the feature of the ACS on Splynx. Again, Splynx is a very nice software that you as an ISP, you have to consider buying it. If you are looking to buy Splynx or to subscribe to it, I'm going to leave for you a link on the description where in case you register to Splynx via this link, you will get 5% discount on the normal price that Splynx will offer. So this is all what I wanted to show you in this video. If you like my way of teaching, I would appreciate if you can make like on the video, subscribe, and click on the bell so you are notified on my new videos when they come. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.